Good morning, everyone. The court will please come to order. There's a quorum present. All members are here and accounted for. All legal notices have been duly posted, and this court is duly called. Is there a motion to open court?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. Court's open. Bailiff, please open court.
All rise. The Dallas County Commissioners Court is now in session for the September 2012 term. The Honorable Judge Jenkins presiding. Please remain standing for the invocation.
And our invocation today will be given by guest of Commissioner Dickens.
Thank you, Judge. And today we have with us Reverend Darrell Bach, Dr. Darrell Bach, and would you please come forward? Dr. Bach has been kind enough to come today. He's left his class at DTS, Dallas Theological Seminary, in order to come and say a blessing for us. And we thank you for leaving your class, Dr. Bach, to come. Dr. Bach is quite a celebrity in theological circles, and so we're very fortunate to have him. He got his BA from UT, but he got his PhD from DTS and then the University of Aberdeen in Scotland, and his postdoctoral work has been in Germany at Tübingen University. He has gotten international recognition as a Humboldt Scholar, which he got when he was working in Germany on his postdoc work. And he's also an editor-at-large of Christianity Today, and he's on the board of Wheaton College, another seminary, and Chosen People's Ministry. He has written over 30 books and periodicals on theology, and he's been on ABC, CNN, Day of Discovery, and the John Ankerberg Show. He also has a blog, and he blogs the Scripture, and he's been doing this for over 6 years to bring the Scripture to people that might not otherwise reach it. He's married to Sally for 36 years and has 3 children, grown now. And thank you so much for coming with us to see us today.
My pleasure. Let's pray. Almighty God, we give you thanks for this day that you've given us, and we pray for this court. We pray for the people that they represent here in Dallas County. We pray for the judgments that they have to make and the discernment that they have. We pray that you would lead and guide them in the decisions that they have to make and in the tough choices that they have to make. Father, too, we lift up today Fred Meyer and the news of his passing. Pray for his family. We thank you for his service to this city, and we ask your blessing as the family remembers a life of someone who has served the city so well. Give us pause this day to remember you in your goodness and your grace. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Well, welcome to this meeting of the Commissioners Court. This important session is comprised of 5 sections. We will hear from resolutions, and we'll consider our official agenda. We'll recess for the court's informal work session. It also means a briefing session. We'll listen to some registered speakers. By the way, some of them may come out of order if they're on something, but if they're on something, possibly they're on one. And then we'll have a very brief, I always say that in terms of be longer, but it's got to be short this time. There's only 2 things on it, closed session. So that's the program for today's meeting. The first resolution today will be read by Commissioner Cantrell.
Judge and Commissioners, I have a resolution for the annual Greek Food Festival of Dallas. I'm going to be presenting it at a later date, so I'm going to move its adoption. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Judge, I do have a statement I'd just like to read since I didn't read that. The annual Greek Food Festival of Dallas will be celebrating its 56th celebration this year on Friday, September 28th through Sunday. This is always a highly received and anticipated event for Dallas and offers the community a wonderful opportunity for cultural exchange with the Greek traditions. Visitors and families attending will be greeted by traditional entrees, live music, folk dancing, and even the crowd favorite plate smashing. The festival is hosted by the Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Church in North Dallas on Hillcrest in Alpha, and offers guided tours of its Byzantine ornate church and the artwork within. And they're on Channel 8 this morning, dancing, I believe. So we'll present that resolution at the. Thank you.
fantastic festival
Yeah.
with a lot of tradition and fantastic food.
It was super.
So,
We have some great festivals here. We got we just missed our, I don't know if we missed it or not, but Oktoberfest, it's Hispanic Heritage Month, we had some good festivals on that. They were blessed to have them.
Well, they also cook this food themselves. The people in the church actually cook it, which makes it fairly unique. I went to the first one when the Orthodox Church was down on Apple Street. And gosh, it's been 30 years ago, I guess. They've been around for a long time. Very wonderful.
Our next resolution, Commissioner Price.
Judge, Commissioners, this morning we're very pleased to honor one of our alders who have been long a real faithful service to Dallas County. And so I asked Judge Lorraine Raggio, her husband, and the adorning delegation to come forward. Dr. Smith, and there are a number of district judges here, so I ask you to come forward and flank her, please. And to Dr. Bob this morning, thank you for that prayer with regards to Fred and I. The resolution reads that whereas the legislature passed a bill in 1917 creating juvenile boards composed of all civil and criminal judges plus the county judges in all counties of 100,000 population, and the juvenile board of Dallas County is composed of 9 appointed members who set policies for the juvenile probation department and other department facilities and programs under the board's jurisdiction. Whereas the Honorable Lorraine A. Raggio is the presiding judge of the 162nd Civil District Court and has been a member of the Dallas County Juvenile Board since 2006. And whereas the Honorable Lorraine A. Raggio is a fellow of the Texas Bar Foundation as well as the Dallas Bar Foundation and a member of the College of State Bar of Texas. And whereas the Honorable Lorraine A. Raggio has been a master for the Patrick Higginbotham American Inn Court since 2007. And whereas prior to entering office, Raggio worked as a litigation attorney in Dallas, served for 6 years as an assistant district attorney in Dallas County, where she prosecuted primarily financial crimes on both the trial and appellate level. And whereas the Honorable Lorraine A. Raggio has dedicated her life to serving the youth and families of Dallas County and the community at large, and has been a highly professional appointee of the Dallas County Juvenile Board, and will serve her last day as a juvenile board member on August 27, 2012. And whereas the Honorable Lorraine Raggio will retire in December 2012 to spend her time with her husband Greer Raggio, her 2 daughters, Raggio and Dr. Julia Raggio, and her son-in-law, Dr. Cameron Cover, and 2 grandchildren, Megan Cover and Nicholas Cover. Now therefore be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby, and with great pride, recognition, and show the reverence to the life's work and contributions of the Honorable Lorraine Raggio for the historic way in which she has postulated democracy, modeled civility, and created a climate for justice and fairness among all people, and her commitment while serving as a juvenile board member. And so moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Judge?
Thank you so much. I'm overwhelmed by this honor that you give me this morning. Thank you to the Juvenile Board, to Dr. Smith, Commissioner Price. Thank you for inviting me to Commissioners Court this morning to be presented with this wonderful resolution. Your Honor, Judge Jenkins, Commissioners Dickey, Cantrell, Price, and Garcia. I'd like to just say that it's been a privilege and an honor to serve on the Juvenile Board. I've been so impressed with all the professionals, the staff, everyone involved, and there's one common thread. Everyone cares about these children. So I thank you.
Judge, Dr. Smith, I'm sure half the department you have some commentary in regards to Roger. Sometime at 5 o'clock in the evening for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, it's difficult to get a quorum. Some people just get lost trying to find program time. But nonetheless. Well, one of the things we do, we don't because we're charged in the Texas Juvenile Probation Commission to have to certify certain facilities. The board meeting is never held in one place. We have to certify the detention, we have to certify the lead time, we have to certify the medlock facilities, we have to certify, so the board is constantly, moving, mobile, if you will. So sometimes it takes.
It is challenging. When I was in high school, they put an L and an R on my hand so I could remember which way to turn. But Judge Raja, we've always been able to depend on her for a quorum. That hasn't always been the case. We have people who get appointed to boards and commissions, and sometimes they show, and sometimes they don't. And it is really important work. And so I just want to thank her for always not only making the quorum, but making a contribution. Because those facilities, we have to walk those facilities. We're given a list of what the commission expects in those facilities, everything from programmatically to the physical facilities. And it's one of the reasons, I guess, that this department got a 99 rating on both times, the last time that we were praised by the commission. So, Judge, thank you, and we know it's been a real sacrifice, especially with some health challenges, and even with you continue to try to get there. And so we just thank you.
Difficult sometimes getting lawyers out of the courtroom, so but I manage. You've been a great guiding light, Commissioner, and Dr. Smith is just wonderful. So I wish you all continued success.
Judge, just say a few words. Judge, I want to say thank you, and I'm very impressed with your judicial career. No matter what side of the aisle you're on, Republican or Democrat, what you hear out in the community is how fair you are and how hardworking you are, and you do the right thing for the right reason. We just want to say thank you for that.
Yes, you've been a trailblazer, and we really appreciate your hard work. It's been an honor working with you, and of course, your husband as well. So, you're going to be missed. You're going to be missed, and thank you for all you did with your funds, the distribution of your funds for the BDA Council. Thank you very much.
Before Dr. Smith, I want to say something too, because you're my neighbor and I love you all. The one thing that's really impressive to me about both of you and career is every time I look up, it's not these political things, and there's nothing wrong with those things either, where a lot of elected officials are, but things in the community that make a difference in the lives of people all over Dallas County. You look up and there you guys are. I'm not at all those things, but the ones that I'm at, I look up and it seems like you're always there, always willing to support. Always kind of in the background toiling in those things. And that's really remarkable for, a person of your stature to be doing that. I'm really impressed by that. It's something that has been an inspiration to me and as I started my public service, seeing how you two guys conduct yourselves in those ways.
Judge Raggio, I echo what Commissioner Cantrell said. You have been an icon in the community, local judicial service. I've always heard your name, never in regard to partisan issues, but always in regard to being even-handed. Your name has been synonymous with quality, with the knowledge of legality, and also with your even-handedness with the people that come before you. And I appreciate your service. I appreciate the money that you divided up recently. I thought that was a very generous thing to do, and it showed that you wish the best for the judiciary going on after you're retired. My best to you in your retirement. May you have a peaceful and enjoyable retirement.
Thank you all.
Dr. Smith.
I would just like to echo the sentiments of all the Commissioner and Judge Jenkins. It's wonderful to have someone on our juvenile board who is committed to the youth that we serve. And Commissioner Price had it right. When we're taking tours, especially of our staff and our youth group, which is a pretty big campus, Judge Raggio trudged out into the mud fields, to look at our garden, and asked wonderful questions about the kids. Whenever you have a magnitude of 9 people on board, and it was nonpartisan. It was all about the youth. So there was there were no egos in terms of doing the right thing. So we were very appreciative of having Judge Raggio. I know she appointed Judge Smith, and he had his first meeting with us yesterday, and he just has a mantle to carry Judge Raggio's tradition of doing right by children. So you will be missed. We're very much appreciated, and we thank you so much for your service on our juvenile board.
Judge Lowry, he is also a member of that board and makes it board.
I'm going to take a point of privilege and just veer slightly off topic. We've said everything that I think could be said about Judge Raggio's service on the juvenile board, and it's been my privilege to serve with her there as well. But I want to talk about her judicial service because I don't know if I'm going to get another opportunity. Commissioner Garcia used the term trailblazer. Judge Raggio has been that. She's been a leader. She's been a role model for so many of us who have followed in her footsteps and are now her colleagues on the bench. She will be sorely, sorely missed. It's been an honor to serve with you.
Don't leave, let's take a picture, y'all.
Just break down the barrier, you know.
Nobody understand anything. It's like-
You might get it on
He's watching.
Or not.
Actually, they did say that the mother has
Judge Raggio leaves, I know I should say, so being we're neighbors, and she takes a bicycle to the grocery store, and I take my Yukon. So, maybe I start taking my bicycle right here.
Yes, you should.
Our last resolution today is from Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you, Judge, colleagues, members of the audience. It's a great honor for me to recognize someone that has been in the community in Dallas County and Grand Prairie for many years, and that's Fire Chief of Grand Prairie, Cliff Nelson. Chief, would you please come with Lisa and your friends to the podium? And the resolution reads as follows. Whereas Cliff Nelson has served with the Grand Prairie Fire Department for 34 years, beginning his career with the city on September 16, 1978 as a firefighter, then advancing in February of 1981 to private engineer. In August of 1985, he became lieutenant. In December of 1987, he was promoted to captain. In August of 1990, he became assistant chief. And in 1996, he became the fire chief and will retire on October 31st, 2012. And whereas he graduated from South Grand Prairie High School in 1974, he graduated from the University of Texas at Arlington with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Criminal Justice in 1978, and he graduated from the National Fire Academy from Executive Fire Officer Program and U.S. Fire Administrator in 1996. And whereas he's a member of the National Fire Protection Association, Dallas County Fire Chiefs Association, Tarrant County Fire Chiefs Association, International Association of Fire Chiefs, Texas Fire Chiefs Association, and the North Central Texas Fire Chiefs Association. And whereas he was awarded by Optimus International for devoted community service in 1992. He received the City of Grand Prairie City Managers Award in 1994. Was nominated Manager of the Year Award in 1995, and in 1997 he accepted, on behalf of all the Grand Prairie City employees, the Public Employees Roundtable Award for Excellence in Service in Washington, D.C. He also served as a member of the Service Excellence Leadership Team for the City of Grand Prairie from 1992 to 1999. And whereas he and his wife Lisa have been married for 34 years, and reside in the city of Grand Prairie. They have 3 children, Amanda, Allison, and Sean. His hobbies include coaching youth sports and outdoor activities. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court hereby gives a special recognition to Cliff Nelson for his professional expertise as the Fire Chief of Grand Prairie and extends sincere appreciation for being a dedicated public servant to the citizens of Grand Prairie and Dallas County. We send our best wishes for success, good health, and happiness in his retirement. And I so moved.
And I second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Just a few comments. I want to say it's very humbling. 34 years passes by very quickly. And on behalf of Mayor Charles England and City of Grand Prairie, I thank you for all of your service with the citizens of Dallas County and the guests of Dallas County. On behalf of all the fire chiefs in Dallas County, it's a privilege and honor to serve. There's a lot that goes into public service, as you all well know. But we thank you very much, and I appreciate the honor here today. Judge Jenkins and Dr. Garcia, thank you very much, and all the commissioners for your service too. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll now consider our consent agenda, including a revised letter to Susan Little, hopefully you know, someone second. Is there, okay, all those in favor? Okay, next we've got item 9, the bids. Motion on the bids?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next we'll consider court orders 237, 16. Is there a motion on those orders?
So moved.
Second.
Since the 37, 16.
Yeah, good job.
Show me, starting on number 22, I just have questions.
Vicky is abstaining on 23. The court's now reconvened in public session, recess for the briefing session, and items to consider for the subsequent session. Mr. Martin, please take us through the briefing session.
Board of Education, the first item is addendum, discussion of the board.
We're not going to do the rest of it, then we'll do the agenda tonight.
Okay. We'll come back to the addendum item. Item 1, Health and Human Services. 1A, recommend approval for the fiscal year 2013 hospital contract award presented in attachment A in the briefing. Item 1B, recommend approval of fiscal year 2013 Department of State Health Services contract for HIV services. Item 1C, recommend approval of fiscal year 2013 Rhino Health Part B formula contract and budget as presented in the briefing. And item 1D, recommend approval of contract for pharmacy services with Howard Junior to service pharmacists in charge. Item 2, District Clerk. District and County Clerk recommends purchasing equipment and services to deploy the Odyssey document management system funded out of the clerk's escrow accounts. Item 3, Human Resources Civil Services. 3A, recommends approval of salary schedules for fiscal year 2013 effective October 1, 2012. And 3B, recommends approval of funding to utilize various media sources for advertising and recruitment purposes for fiscal year 2013. 4 was skipped. 5, purchasing. Recommends Weaver and Tidwell LLP as the highest rated firm for the RFP for audit services for the Dallas County Tax Office. Item 6, Planning and Development, recommends approval of a 10-year 50% abatement on real business, personal property taxes for the construction of the fulfillment distribution center in Capel.
More money, more money. That's a good deal.
Item 7, Public Works. 7A, recommends the sale of various parcels of land listed in the agreement in the city of Grand Prairie. Item 7B, recommends the award of construction contract with Saber Development Corporation, paid from CDBG funds. Item C, recommends approval of project-specific agreement to the MCIP Master Agreement for the Pleasant One Road project from Joe Wilson Road to Duncanville Road, the city of Cedar Hill. Item 7D, recommends the award of construction contract with PAEE Corporation, paid for CDBG program funding for the Seagoville, Briar Creek, Mobile Home Park paving improvements. Item 8, Budget. 8A is your conference travel training request. And 8B, recommends approval of the various contracts listed in this briefing. I don't know if Mr. Brown has anything to add to any of those. And that concludes the agreement. Then we'll go back to the addendum item, which is discussion of voter registration activity. And Commissioner Cantrell.
Good, thank you, Bill. I just wanted to, I asked her to put this on because I wanted to put some of my comments on the record with regards to the National Voter Registration Day. Recent data shows that voter turnout in Texas has reached a national low, and it's essential to find measures that can redirect our current course. As a county with 1.8 million eligible voters, only 1.1 million citizens are registered voters. It is in Dallas County's best interest to have an informed, active, and engaged electorate. As an elected official representing my constituents, I understand the pivotal role citizens play in the promotion of our democracy and how crucial it is to have a nonpartisan administration of the voting process. It is the goal of this court and of our elections department to register all eligible voters in Dallas County. However, I believe that Dallas County's participation in the National Voter Registration Day has a very partisan appearance on our election process. One of the difficult tasks at our elections department is maintaining that neutrality and transparency, giving all citizens, no matter what party affiliation, the confidence of fair elections. In the past decades, Dallas County Elections Department has never politicized the voter registration process. The participation in the National Voter Registration Day came as a surprise to me. For a court that so publicly calls for transparency, this is disheartening and disappointing. First I heard about the county's participation with this group was on September 19, 2012. It has apparently been in the planning process for many months by all those involved. By partnering with this group, I believe that Dallas County and the Elections Department has gone down a very slippery slope that opens the Elections Department up to criticism and distrust. There was no bipartisan planning and implementation of this plan. To have that, the county would have had to make a concerted effort in reaching out to Republicans as well as Democrats. Both party chairs should have been included in this process. Through the partnering effort with this group, if one simply looks beyond the words, quote, nonpartisan, quote, by looking at the group's website, the organizations involved, and the target population for registration, one can conclude that this is a partisan effort to strengthen the Democratic vote in Dallas County and to move forward the Democratic agenda to re-elect Obama. The website and t-shirt designs closely resemble an Obama-themed logo, and certainly by subliminal messaging and branding that's indicative of what they look like. The partners listed on the NVRD website are mainly composed of liberal-leaning progressive organizations and Democratic partisan groups, with the Dallas County Elections Department being the only county election department listed as a sponsor. Targeted groups are high school seniors from all the public schools. None of the private schools were contacted to participate, probably due to being a different demographic. In conclusion, my issue with this whole thing is the lack of transparency, partisan isolation, and an organizational effort that has a clearly masked Obama campaign underlying. A very famous person once said, "Those who vote decide nothing. Those who count the votes decide everything." That person was Joseph Stalin. This is not the impression that we want the public to have of our election department. Thank you, Chair.
And we have two speakers on this. Do we have any other commissioner comments on this?
Yes, I appreciate very much the comments that Commissioner Cantrell made. They certainly reflect my feeling as well. We have had a very contentious time the last year after Bruce Sherbert was fired against much public protest. There has been a lack of confidence in the person who replaced him, not because we knew that person personally, but because the process we felt was, many people felt, of both parties, was so violated. And I think that it's very important that the Commissioners Court, which consists of elected officials, maintain a healthy separation of powers between the Commissioners and the Elections Department.
Right, and any other comments?
Let me just ask, maybe, did we invite Highland Park to be a part of this?
What I was thinking we would do is, since there's all these accusations, hear from the speakers and then ask Ms. Poole to explain to us what it is these folks are talking about. Mr. Emmer, you're the first speaker. Before you, or as you come up with, can I ask that we please read the rules of the forum for our public speakers?
All Commissioner Court attendees are hereby advised that this meeting is conducted in accordance with the provisions of Dallas County Code Section 74-71. Visitors and registered speakers are to order in decorum at all times. Personal, profane, or offensive remarks are not appropriate and will not be allowed at any time during this public meeting. Any and all applause to be kept brief in observance of time constraints. Disruptive visitors and or registered speakers may be removed and are subject to the penalties provided in the State of Texas Penal Code Sections 38.13, 42.01, and 42.05. Registered individual speakers are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes, and the maximum discussion on any one topic is limited to 30 minutes.
Great, thank you, Judge and Commissioners. Wade Emmert, Dallas County Republican Party Chairman at 10300 North Central, Dallas, Texas 75231. I appreciate the comments of both Commissioner Cantrell and Commissioner Dickey. This National Voter Registration Day is not a holiday. National Voter Registration Day is a private organization made up of some nonpartisan groups, but many partisan groups. These groups are left-leaning progressive groups. Some of them include AFL-CIO, citizens unions, various minority advocacy groups, other liberal organizations such as Campus Progress, Feminist Majority Leadership, Green for All, a company actually called Politically Motivated, an organization called Progressive Leadership Alliance. Many of these groups are partisan groups, and they are overtly progressive and liberal groups. My issue with the National Voter Registration Day is not registering voters. I think we should all register voters. I think we should have bipartisan efforts to register as many voters as we can. My issue, though, is that when you target a specific group to the exclusion of other groups, I think that creates a bad precedent. The specific target was here, high school students in public schools. First of all, I think you should probably not single out just one group. I think you should expand it to different organizations, not just high school students, but also folks in other organizations. But if you're going to target high school groups, then at least let's target private schools, home schools, charter schools as well. You selected very few public schools. Yes, Highland Park was one of those schools that was invited, but without any efforts from either political parties, they were hesitant to allow the elections department in their school. had a call been made to the Republican Party of Dallas County or the Democratic Party, we could have reached an agreement as to where these efforts would have done the most good in a bipartisan way. That wasn't done. And so the appearance is this is a partisan effort. Now, I choose not to believe that the Elections Department had a partisan motive. That's not the issue. The issue is it has an appearance of partisanship that we should not stand for in Dallas County. And so my request to this court is to let's refocus these efforts not on today, but let's find another day where we can actually register voters in a bipartisan way. Thank you for your time.
And our next speaker is Ms. Myra Mishashi.
Good morning. My name is Myra Noshahi, 4812 Sandestin Drive, Dallas, Texas, 75287. I am currently 19 years old and a college student. I became a registered voter this past May. I'm exceptionally proud to be an American with the right to vote. I'm proud to have the resources and especially the awareness of the voting process. And I think that everyone should be involved, especially amongst the recent election protocol. There's been a lot of confusion. Therefore, as Mr. Kenshaw said also, voter turnout has been embarrassingly low, not only in this state, but across the entire country. However, I'm especially proud of Dallas County for at least making the effort of voter registration day and by making a priority to register new voters across area high schools. It's also very important that students feel like their voices are being heard and to engender excitement about the most important American thing, which is our right to vote. It's also necessary to re-educate the public and register as many voters as possible. We are valuable resources to answer any questions so that they do it and they do it right by following the rules. Organizers can be Republican, Democrat, Independent, Black, White, old, young, as long as they make every effort to get the job done and to be inclusive. Of course, nonpartisan registrations are preferred, but as long as the youth is registered, that is the key important first step. That leads to more knowledge, more involvement in the political process, and then we can get more knowledge to change our current views with that new knowledge. Right now, the flaw is that we are thinking in the short term, that right now, targeting the youth is good or bad for the Obama versus Romney campaign. But the issue is much larger than that because it's very long term. We have to register voters so that we increase political involvement, civic engagement in the future, so that my generation and the generations below me can become active members of the community. So it's not an issue of targeting specific schools or targeting charter and private versus public schools. The issue is just first getting people registered, and then other things will be settled within the process, which is whether they become partisan, whether they have a specific view or not. But I think the key issue is getting them to vote, which is to exercise our own right to vote as Americans, and then getting them to, relay that information to other people to get a more civically involved community. Thank you.
All right, is Ms. Pippin's pool here? I've got a couple of questions on this because I asked the DA to look into all these matters. Mr. Heichel, have you had an opportunity, your office had an opportunity to look into the partnership between the League of Women Voters, the schools, and the Dallas County Elections Department and comment on its propriety or legality?
Yes, we have.
Excuse me, point of privilege, why did you pick this particular organization and not other organizations?
Well, we'll let her explain that because I didn't pick any organizations. But as far as looking at this after it became controversial, did you look at it and have an opinion?
Yes, we
At all of the organizations, not just one organization.
But let me just clarify in terms of what we are tasked with doing in the DA's office is not to make a determination as to what organization participated in the process, but just the law as to whether or not this process of having principals of high schools, be it public and private, be deputized as deputy registrars to register 18-year high school students. We were tasked with that responsibility with the legality of that, and Mr. Stu conducted the research, and I've asked him to be here to answer whatever questions you may have also.
Okay, well, I guess it's Tony. Do we want to do that first, or we want to do Tony first? Since Mr. Stool, I've got Mr. Stool here. Ben, you want to just tell us briefly about any legal ramifications of this, or any requirements on schools or the elections department?
Just so that you understand, I don't think anyone's stated that there's a legal issue on this. It's an appearance issue with regards to neutrality and transparency and bipartisanship.
Briefly, the election code makes every principal of every public and private high school in the state of Texas a high school deputy registrar. When they become a principal, they're a high school deputy registrar. The law also imposes a duty on the voter registrar of every county in the state of Texas, and the Secretary of State's office has imposed the same duty on themselves to notify every principal of every public and every private high school in the state that they are a high school deputy registrar. As such, it also puts a duty on all those principals to twice a year give out applications to register to vote to any student they've got that's going to be 18.
That's twice a year.
Yes, twice a year.
Every principal.
Yes, every principal. Twice a year, any student they've got that's going to turn 18 during that school year, they're to give out applications to register to vote. And they also receive them back. In other words, the students can either mail them in to the registrar, or they can give them to the principal who's acting as the high school deputy registrar. If they do give them to the principal's supposed to review them to make sure they're complete, and then either personally deliver them to the voter registrar or mail them to the voter registrar. That's how, and that statute's been in place for some time. That's not. I'm sorry?
1985?
Yeah, it's been there for some time. But one of the reasons that they also put into the code and to the administrative rules are requirements to for the voter registrar and the Secretary of State to notify the principals of their duties under these provisions. I mean, it's because they may not know. By the way, when you accept that position, you're automatically a high school deputy registrar, whether you like it or not. You're there. So that's how they get there.
That's called law.
Well, it's in the Texas election code, and it's in the administrative code as well, from the rules that legislature ordered the Secretary of State to implement administrative rules to implement it.
All right, and I think that's it.
On that, so if that's the law, then one would certainly question the use of resources out in those high schools instead of out in the community. Because if by law they're required to register those individuals, then why is this big effort and big push made to the high school?
Well, I think that's a good question for
That's in the code.
Well, but they're required by law to do it.
And she's required.
So why are we going out there and wasting resources?
Because twice a year, she's required. She's required to inform those principals of their responsibility.
But informing a principal of their responsibility is not going out. If you look at the information that I've received on what's going to take place in the schools, the problem that I have is if based on what is said was going to take place in those schools, you're going to set up a voter registration table, and the teachers are going to walk these kids down there and say, register. Well, I've got a problem with that, because peer pressure, when you're taking a child out of the classroom and the teacher's walking them down there and say, we need to get you registered, this is America. You have a freedom of decision if you want to register or not register.
Well,
Commissioner
And
Brown,
if
from Ms. Pippin's pool about what actually is happening.
Can I just segue over what Commissioner Cantrell said? According to what I read, not only did Commissioner Cantrell describe accurately that information, but also the registrars might be able to go into the classroom and register kids. They could ask some of the kids to help at the registration table. The individual commissioners were asked to purchase T-shirts at between about $450 each of us for these kids. And finally, There was, in the information that I received, and I'm sure Commissioner Cantrell did as well, there were report backs on how many voters. So in other words, not only was this PR campaign going forward, but they wanted the PR people, the PIOs, to report back as to what their measurement, their success rate was. So this certainly, considering that the charter schools, the private schools, weren't even contacted, and this hardly seems like a level-headed thing.
Well, let me just,
Yeah, why don't you tell us what's actually going on?
let me just say that we were approached by the League of Women Voters, like we were approached by different organizations throughout Dallas County. They approached us in order to partner and join in with the National Voter Registration Day. They wanted to, since we have a student program which we work with both parties on, they contacted us because we have that student program. And they engaged in wanting to know our contacts for the school districts. And the school districts that we use because of the high schools are the school districts that we conduct their elections. So we had that information only on the high schools for those districts that we conduct their election. So that's really how it was chosen. The League of Women Voters contacted us. And it's no different with assisting the League of Women Voters with their outreach efforts as we do with any other organization that approaches our office. We provide those opportunities, we provide the information, we try to share the information that we have in our voter registration department with any organization that approaches us. There's plenty of opportunities for any individual, any organization to contact us and ask for us to assist them. This is no different with the league this year that we did in 2008. In 2008, the League of Women Voters approached the voter registration department to join in an effort of registering voters at the DART station. So a precedent has been set with the elections department in working with the League of Women Voters. So we try to give them as much.
Were you the election administrator in 2008?
I'm sorry?
Were you the elections administrator in 2008?
No, sir. But we do provide this, and we still have ongoing projects with churches, with colleges, with community colleges, and also we have some with some businesses. So it was, on our part, we were just helping the League of Women Voters, and that was strictly all that our input was.
So it was a different Joseph Stalin in 2008.
Well, let me comment on that.
But I just want to say that that's all that we were doing. And we gave them the resources that we had, which was only, but we open up to anybody that wants that information from us. And there are still opportunities before October the 9th for us to reach out to any school district or any organization that want us to assist them with giving them voter registration application pamphlets or giving a demonstration of our election equipment. We get these requests every day, and we try to be as transparent and nonpartisan as we possibly can. You know, we offer this to the community. We want to give the opportunity to all the citizens in Dallas County, not from just one sector.
And Tony, did someone contact you last week about an effort to get into the private schools and register those young people?
Yes.
And who was that?
I'm trying to think who was. I know Highland Park. One of the individuals in Highland Park did contact us,
Well,
but we referred to that. Yeah, your office did contact us about giving us those contacts for those private and charter schools, and we offer that. We will send information out to them.
And I've offered yesterday to Mr. Emmert and to anyone to work with them to register all the young people that turn 18 in the private schools, the charter schools, and the homeschool associations. And my office is in the process of compiling lists and reaching out to those folks. But something that we have to keep in mind here, the League of Women Voters chose public schools, as is their right. They have a right to do that, just like the Republican Party can choose private schools. But today, we have 433,000 students in our public schools here from K through 12 in Dallas County. We have 20,000 in our private schools. I guarantee you, if we all work together over the next 14 days, we can register every private school child that they'll let us into the schools on, in the private schools here in Dallas County. So that's really not the issue. The issue is, do we want to register our 18-year-olds? Do we not want to register our 18-year-olds? And do we want to register all of our 18-year-olds, regardless of who their parents are, where they live, or how we think that they'll think when they hear the message and make their decision? Or do we want to cherry pick, our 18-year-olds? And for me, I want to register them all, and then I hope to win their support when I'm running for office through the power of ideas, not through trying to guess how they're going to vote and only register those people. Yeah.
First of all, I think you kind of shifted where the real issue is. That the issue of registering any person that's unregistered in Dallas County is clearly a great thing. What I'm trying to point out here is when you politicize our election department, you open them up for criticism and distrust. Because here's what happens. Ms. Poole, you had the opportunity to go into these schools at any time during the year. Anytime. Is that correct?
That's correct.
To do registration.
Right.
Is that right? Okay. So when you say that this is a nonpartisan deal, and that historically we've done these things back in 2008, it seems kind of insincere because of this. Yes, we've done malls, we've done DART, we've done all kinds of things, and those are done through requests for your office. And in my opinion, that's your job. If somebody, an organization calls you and says, can you come out and help us register these people?
Absolutely.
That's what you're supposed to do. And that's what we want you to do.
Absolutely.
But what we don't want you to do,
Okay.
or I should speak for myself, this court will make that decision. What you shouldn't be doing, in my opinion, is linking the credibility of Dallas County Elections Department to an organization that is clearly partisan and using the resources that you have in order to get into those schools to go register vote when it's part of an overall theme of a particular campaign that's going on. Because here's the thing. They picked, yes, they said they'd like to go in and register the children, the young people, which if you look at it on a Republican Democrat basis, 66 to 80% of those kids do vote Democrat. Okay, so if I was a Democrat and if I was a very partisan group, I'd say let's go into the schools. So what you
said the same thing about DART in 2008. Most of those riders.
Do you know what the difference is?
What's the difference?
We
It was
didn't-
legal women voting.
We did, okay.
It was legal women voting.
I understand.
Okay.
The difference is we didn't partner with them. We didn't organize it. We didn't promote it through all kinds of deals, and we didn't put our name on their list showing that we are a partner with them. You are the only election department in the country that is on their list.
Oh, no.
That's not
Okay, I've got the list right here. And
Well,
please
let me
show
just,
me.
List for Dallas.
well, I was just
It's the list of every
I was just
organization.
in Washington DC, LA County and, Orange County.
They're not on the list.
They're on the, if you go to their website, they have it. Broward County in Florida has it. Cuba has it. Arizona is a part of it. There were 15 jurisdictions, 15 large counties in this nation
At 3,000.
that were at this meeting, and they discussed this. This was
They may be
Democrats and Republicans.
They're not on this list.
Yeah.
Dallas County election
Commissioner,
department.
let her finish.
Here's the point.
Let her finish. The meeting she's talking about was the Pew Institute.
Right, it's Pew
The 15
Institute.
largest counties.
And the Pew Institute also is a part of this, and also Microsoft and Google are sponsors of this day. So, and it's by Fortune 500 companies for it also.
But Tony, you're
But-
missing the point.
And then Texas A&M is also on there.
Well, Texas A&M Corpus Christi,
Yeah.
and that's very misleading and I wasn't even gonna go there in the media, but here's the thing, you're missing the point.
Of being our name, okay.
The elections department now is advocating for this group, and if you go to is this their logo, National Voter
I
Registration?
think it is.
And is this Obama's logo? I don't see any similarity to that, do you?
Did you design that logo?
No, sir.
Oh,
But I'm not asking if you designed it.
Okay.
I'm saying everywhere I look into this organization, it is clearly a partisan organization. And then you say League of Women Voters. Well, let's go there. Who are the two contact people for the League of Women Voters on this particular project here in Dallas County?
Michelle Manners, who is the president of Dallas County, of Dallas's charter.
And it's
Who are the two we are? I'm sorry.
It's 50-50, I don't know, is she a Democrat or a Republican?
No. On the issues, on
She's a
the
Republican.
literature that was sent out, who are the two contact people? Jillian Perillo?
She's
Now, I sent you questions and I'll.
Yeah, she's a representative
Now, wait a minute.
of the League of Women Voters.
Now, wait a minute. Is that the point of contact? Because I specifically asked that question. Who is the point person for this event on 9/25/2012? Who are the two individuals that you gave me from the League of Women Voters?
Jillian, I
And
don't
who
know her
else?
last name, and Michelle Manners.
No, you gave me Elizabeth Wall.
Oh, Michelle's name should be on there too.
Okay, the two individuals that you gave me, I did a Google search to see, okay, maybe there is partisanship here. Maybe it's bipartisan. Ms. Perillo, she's a member of the Stonewall Democrats, hosted Obama's nomination and acceptance party, volunteered with the Obama Dallas organization, and publicly open about her support for Obama. Ms. Wally, passionate Obama supporter, neighborhood organizer for OFA, Democratic precinct chair, lists herself as a true progressive, involved in the Liberal Ladies Who Lunch, and hosted Obama watch parties and phone banks. So you tell me that we're doing this in a nonpartisan way. It's not the issue of registering voters. It's the appearance of our elections department advocating for a partisan group.
Well,
That's all I'm trying to point
well,
out. We don't need to be there.
Well, Commissioner, I could appreciate this if, as you said, we got an county with 2.3 million people. We got 1,800,000 who are 18 years of age and older. We got 1,100,000 registered to vote in the past primary, and the Democrats and the Republicans, only 5.18% even bothered to even be bothered. At the most we've ever done in 2008, I think it was right at 61%. I'm trying to recall. I could understand if we were talking about marginally, having to dash a line. Only 5.18% even bothered to.
Right, but Commissioner, I'm all in favor of the Republicans doing all the registration they can do, the Democrats doing all the registration they can do, independents registering their people.
But you're not in favor
level
of public
playing
school children having the opportunity.
That's wrong, Judge, and that's absolutely wrong. What I'm not in favor of is our elections department advocating for a particular group that's partisan. Stay out of partisan politics. We want a fair and neutral, balanced elections department, Judge. That's it.
Are you
Well,
involved
with
in partisan politics?
No, sir.
No, wait a minute.
Trying to do, that would mean that for every organization that contacts us, that we would have to do background checks and history.
We've got a lot of factors.
We've always worked with the League of Women Voters. We always worked with the League of Women Voters.
When you went out, and you've been out on those things back in 2008 and before you,
And
where Republicans have asked you to come out and register people, Democrats have asked you to register people,
Yes.
no problem with that whatsoever.
no problem.
I have no problem with that. That's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
But when you partner up with a partisan organization and you use your credibility of the Dallas County Elections Department for a partisan group,
But you keep
What
saying
do
that
we do?
there's no evidence that that.
oh, there is all evidence.
I didn't think that the League of Women Voters was a partisan group.
Oh, I wouldn't, the 2 points of contact are not partisan?
I said the group.
Now, wait a minute. We can hide and disguise all kinds of stuff. Everybody understands what's going on here, Tony. What I'm asking you to do is stay out of partisan politics.
Okay.
Work with the groups, that's fine, but don't lend your name and lend your contacts and everything else to partisan groups.
Okay.
Now, I read the votes on the court too, so I understand. But I think it's a sad day in Dallas County when we get to that point.
I agree with that last thing, that this is a sad day. But, Tony, let me ask you a question. Wade Emmerich talked about the AFL-CIO, some group called the Feminist Majority, the Progressive Leadership, something other, some group with green in their name, and others. Who, are any of those groups contacting your office and being involved in this as far as you know?
No, sir.
They don't have to. It's
As
being
far
done.
as let's take Richardson. Who's this liberal conspiracy group that's registering kids in Richardson?
The PTA.
PTA. So the Richardson PTA is involved in this conspiracy. What about the towns of Coppell, Saxe, and Rowlett in Commissioner Cantrell's district? Those are overwhelmingly Republican towns. Are they involved in the conspiracy? All involved in the conspiracy? So the evidence of the conspiracy is the red, white, and blue circular thing of this group that the League of Women Voters approach you with looks strangely suspicious to the red, white, and blue circular logo of the Obama campaign. And I think America's colors are red, white, and blue. And the two women that you've talked to who work for Ms. Manners, who's a Republican, vote Democratic, and that's our evidence of a conspiracy. Is there anything else that anybody has evidence of this conspiracy?
I would like to ask you, did any group other than the League of Women Voters contact you?
But national, not for the national
And what
voters.
other groups are involved in this? I believe you said AFL-CIO.
There's a whole list on their website, but in Dallas County, we were only working with the Legal Women Voters,
You were only contacted
by the Legal Women Voters.
Well, there are a couple things that I just want to make an observation about. I read a news media thing recently about a speech at Reverend Haynes' church. And in that speech that was given to the congregation, I believe it was this past week, one of our commissioners said, "We have a sister that runs the election department." And I have that. I didn't bring it with me today, but I have it, and you can certainly produce that. That really opens that to suspicion. And also.
The last time I checked, she was a sister, and I did say it. I said it. No, wait,
If I might be allowed to finish. And the second thing that really concerns me is that, as Commissioner Cantrell stated, and I will state, I was never contacted about this until I was solicited by Daphne Fane to give $450 to pay for T-shirts for the kids in the Tarleton Public Schools, which were only mentioned to me, Lancaster, R.L. Turner, and Carrollton, and another school, I think it was a magnet school down in South Dallas County. Those were the only ones mentioned, and they wanted, Daphne wanted me to kick in on T-shirts for these targeted schools, and I believe there were 300 children that that she was wanting us to purchase T-shirts for. So I think
I'm sorry, I don't know anything about that. All we were doing was working with the Legal Women Voters. That was it. We provided them supplies and materials. That was it.
In the name of Dallas County Elections Department.
Wait,
Credibility of this.
I'll recognize you next.
taxpayer in this county.
Commissioner Price.
Unapologetically said that you have a sister and don't let her down and register to vote. That's what I meant. I said it, I meant it. I'll say it again.
Thank you. And colleagues, we can go on all day long discussing this and politicizing it. The reality and the facts are that the National Voter Registration Day includes partisan and non-partisan groups. Commissioner Dick is a member of the League of Women Voters. I am a member.
No.
I am a member of the League of Women Voters.
Shouldn't
Yes, we are both of us. You know, you can see the bipartisan. You know, that the content was so and so doesn't matter. The reality is the group is a non-partisan group. We have partisan and non-partisan groups. We all agree that we want to register young people. Speakers saying, come on, register young people. in the list of school inviters. They're invited, they're, public schools, and there are other schools which are in other districts that tend to be more Republican. If we all agree that we want to register young people to vote, this is the way to do it. Now, we can argue all day long if the elections department is a facilitator, they do their name or they don't. The reality is the goal doesn't change. The goal is let's register young people to vote. And that's the job of the election department, and that's the law in Article 13046. And if all of us do our job, this should be easy. But we haven't been doing it for a long time. So I am glad that we're participating in National Voter Registration Day. I'll be glad to participate in another event when there's more Republican involvement. I agree with my colleagues that they need to be included next time, probably get more participation. I agree with that. But the goal is
The lowest voter registration since 1990.
We have the lowest voter registration in the state. So, colleagues, I don't know why we're arguing. The goal is the same. We can politicize it all we want. Please register young people to vote, and I'll be glad to be there at 12:30 in the speaking school. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, just to follow up, the issue is not registering individuals. The issue is not advocating for a partisan group. Our elections department needs to remain neutral and transparent and have the trust of the citizens and the confidence of the citizens that they're very impartial. And I'll end it there.
And let me close by saying that the issue is what the evidence says the issue is. Look at the evidence, listen to the words, but look at the evidence as well. And along those lines, I'll make this representation for the court because I've heard everyone say, we will work with anyone, Republicans, Democrats, independents, partisan and nonpartisan groups, to register and to assist in registering anyone who is eligible to be registered to vote. And it's my goal that each year we partner with all public, private, charter, and home schools so that those citizens who are 18, because they haven't had the opportunity to register before, can be registered. I think this is something Wade and I have a common ground on. Wade is an active Boy Scout troop leader. I'll be taking 42 little girls to Camp Grady Spruce for the weekend, so everybody pray for me. And we spent 18 years telling our kids this is the greatest country in the world because it is and because we believe that. And we want them to grow up and we want them to participate. But let's put our money where our mouth is. Let's make sure that every child, black, white, brown, public school, private school, when they turn 18, they have an opportunity to register so that when they walk into that voting booth for that first time, it's an experience they remember, just like you all remember your first experience walking in. And I don't want my daughter's first experience to be, you didn't do the paperwork right here, you'll have to come next time. Vote a provisional ballot, dear, you didn't do it right. We want our kids to be participants in our democracy, and we want to win elections based on the power of our ideas, not based on profiling or cherry picking. So let's all work together. Let's, I hear people saying, well, we'd like to be more involved. Let's be involved. Let's get it done next year and the year after that. Let's make this a partnership that reaches across all party lines.
That's Tony, one question.
Sure.
Tony,
Josephine.
With regards to the motor voter act, you're familiar with that? Okay, everyone that comes through a driver's license, a DPS office to get a driver's license or a driving permit, one of the things that they're offered, every single one that come through there, is an opportunity to register to vote. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. So one could surmise that if an 18-year-old is there and they get their driver's permit and they don't sign up to register to vote, that maybe they made that choice. Is that correct? Or 18-year-olds, anyone that's of age to register to vote, if they don't register then that's their choice. Is that correct?
If they don't register, that's their choice.
Right. So, and you don't see any problem with peer pressure in the schools, if teachers or the principal ask a child, we're going to do voter registration, here's the table, go sign up.
Well, under the statute, it says that the principals are supposed to ask their students to sign up, at least offer that opportunity twice a year to those students.
And they can do that over the intercom, and then there's no pressure on that child to register. But if you go yank a kid out of class and say,
Now, I don't know about that process. That process is not being instructed to yank any kids out. But if they put on the PA system that there's a table downstairs that you can go register during the lunch hour or whatever, you know, that.
Well, and that would have been more comforting for me to see in my literature, other than we're going to walk them from the classroom to the voter registration table, or let the teachers register them in the class.
Which was plainly stated in the literature that we received. After, of course, all of this was planned, because I'd only known about this for a few days. I had no idea that this was being planned. Was not included in this anyway.
She slept a couple of days.
Might have been good if we had this conversation before the decision was made, rather than after.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
everyone.
And thanks to the League of Women Voters and of course for this.
Yeah. We have one public speaker on an issue that I believe is unrelated to this matter, but I think that closes it, right? I think that we've got everything done for the last public speaker, and that public speaker is Sandra Crenshaw. Sandra Crenshaw. Okay, I do not see Ms. Crenshaw in our audience today, so this will include that section of court. The court is now reconvened in public session and recess for its closed session is authorized by Chapter 551 of the Government. Short items, probably don't even need to sit down.